displaying the glory of God's creation by exploring America one park at a time. Welcome to Parking Full Time with Big Dave, the park's professor. 10th hole. The par and distance are at the top of the screen. Normally I would say this is a really open and kind of boring hole, but the entire front nine has been tight and heavily wooded, so this is kind of a nice change of pace from what we've seen so far. There is some dense woods off to the left, and there are a couple of large pine trees off here to the right, so some accuracy is still required. It's a long walk down to the 11th tee. To get there you have to walk to the right to get to the park loop road, and then angle left to walk clockwise around the park loop road. Then angle left again on a steep dirt and gravel trail/road, and then you look to the left and you finally get to the 11th tee. It's several hundred feet down to the 11th tee. 11th hole, and this hole plays around the rim of a stormwater collection basin, which is off to the right. There was no water in that basin when I came here, but there would be if it has rained recently. Also on this hole, I need to say a word about tees and baskets. Most holes on this course have 2 or 3 tees and 2 baskets. There's the white basket, which is the first one we're going to come to here, and then further around the rim is the yellow basket. For the most part, these video clips, they go from the middle tee to the yellow basket. There's the view from behind the yellow basket back to the tee. 12th hole, and this hole plays across the outlet of the stormwater collection basin, which is now off to the right. So this is kind of a forced water carry. We're going to jump over that outlet here and then make our way uphill towards the basket. A few more words about the 2 baskets on this course. So in general, the yellow basket is where I would expect the basket to be for that hole. The white basket is in general in a more clever place, sometimes more interesting, sometimes more contrived. So I don't know whether I like which basket over the other. That kind of varies from hole to hole. There's the view back down the hill to the 12th tee. Now it's another pretty long walk to the 13th tee. You have to walk to the left and then past the length of a soccer field, and the 13th tee is kind of at the southeast corner of the soccer field. 13th hole is almost 900 feet long, and it's also a significant dogleg left. We're kind of working our way around the dogleg here. It plays downhill at the beginning with another stormwater collection basin off to the right, and then it's going to play uphill to get up to the basket. This is easily the most memorable hole on this course, and not just because it's nearly 900 feet long, but because there are a lot of things to consider here. The basket is in this set of trees that you see up ahead. I do want to belatedly welcome you back to Parking Full Time. I am Big Dave, the park's professor. We are at Randolph Park. We are in Dublin, Virginia. So we're about 60 miles southwest of Roanoke, Virginia. We're only a couple of miles off of Interstate 81. And I came here on Thursday, September the 7th to capture this video. And it was a warm and humid and somewhat stormy afternoon when I came here. I could hear some rumbles of thunder off in the distance, but I didn't get rained on, and I didn't get struck by lightning, so all was well. Hole number 14 is another long and very open hole. The stormwater collection basin is still off to the right. This set of holes, by the way, holes numbers 10 through 16, form a big loop around the developed area of the park. The part of Randolph Park that contains the baseball fields and soccer fields and that sort of thing. You can see a smattering of pine trees here as we start getting closer to the basket. Overall, I think the longer and more open holes are the better holes on this course. There are a couple of good heavily wooded holes, but some of those heavily wooded holes can get kind of repetitive. And therefore, I think these holes are better. You can see the white basket there off to the left. And the yellow basket is up ahead here on this nice constructed stone and gravel pedestal. The 15th tee, by the way, is behind the park entrance road, which is behind the basket here. There's the 14th basket and the view back to the tee. Hole number 15 is an interesting hole. It plays down this little ditch with a nice row of pine trees off here to the left. There's also this strange wooden portal, I guess you'd say, constructed right here in front of the basket. The portal seems contrived to me, but I like the row of pine trees, and I do like this hole. It's not quite as long and daunting as the two previous holes or the hole that's about to come here. The next tee, by the way, is behind the 15th basket, and again, it's several hundred feet away. You have to walk past the pool house and up towards the next parking lot in order to get to the 16th tee. 16th hole is the last of the long and fairly open holes. There is the third and final stormwater collection basin off here to the left, and it's almost 300 feet over to the other side of the basin. And I know it took me 2 throws in order to clear the other side of the basin. Now you're going to see a basket up here. That's the white basket for this hole. And in a few seconds here, we're actually going to have a little break in the video before we continue to the yellow basket, which is actually several hundred feet past the white basket. The break. Honestly, I got confused and I couldn't figure out where the yellow basket was. And therefore, I had to stop the video and scout around for a little bit until I found it. You see, the second half of this hole is actually pretty heavily wooded. And this is really a long and daunting hole. In my opinion, this is the hardest hole on this course. You can see the yellow basket just off in the distance here, behind these couple of trees. Don't know that this is my favorite hole on this course, but it is probably the hardest. And there finally is the yellow basket and the view back to the tee. Now we go back into the heavily wooded area for the last 2 holes on this course. And honestly, after the exciting and maybe somewhat daunting holes that you just played, these last 2 holes are actually pretty boring. This hole is pretty flat, it's a slight dogleg left. The yellow basket was actually missing when I came here. So again, there's going to be another break in the video when I pause to look for the basket. And then finally I found the area where I'm pretty sure the basket's supposed to be. 18th and final hole. This hole has a super tight fairway, as tight as any of the heavily wooded holes that we played on the front 9. And again, I was never able to find the yellow basket for this hole, so I'm pretty sure that basket was missing. And so there's going to be a break in the video where I recalibrate here, and I do find the white basket, and that's the basket I end up walking to. Since this is the last hole in this course, I do want to thank you for watching. Parking full-time would not be anything without the people who watch. I realize that every day, and I thank you every day. You see, the 18th basket here is on top of this little mound. That makes putting a little more interesting. This is a really good course. There are a few long walks from basket to next tee, and a little bit of repetitiveness on the heavily wooded holes, but if you find yourself in Southwest Virginia, you should probably come and play here. That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, take care, and Lord bless.